I don't know. Okay, so we had talked about being licensed, right? They had to be licensed to collect a debt. Oh, right here. Arkansas law defines a collection agency as any person, partnership, corporation, association, limited liability corporation, or firm which engages in the collection of delinquent accounts, bills, or other forms of indebtedness owed or due or asserted to be owed or due to another or any person, partnership, or business. Okay. I swear they don't put a period in here. Take a breath. Okay. The purchases and attempts to collect delinquent accounts or bills. Okay. They wanted some money from me, right? They're a collection agency. Okay. That's what Arkansas law says. Yep. All right. So, any person, partnership, corporation, business, da 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 da. Okay. They, who shall violate any provision of this chapter shall be deemed guilty of a misdemeanor, and upon conviction shall be fined in any sum of not less than $50 or more than $500 each day. Day of the violation shall constitute a separate offense. This is for collecting a debt without being licensed. This says Arkansas 17-24-103. I believe that is. Okay, if you need to know about statute of limitations, it is a 5-year statute of limitation on written contracts that applies to credit cards. 5 years, not 7, 5. That's why they're getting a ball on it. Yeah, because it was only been like a year for me. It does say a collection agency must obtain licensing before engaging in the collections of debts. The State Board of Collection Agencies can charge an annual licensing fee of up to $125 and an annual fee of $15 for each employee who will be engaging in collection activities. As per Arkansas Code N 17-24-305, the State Board also requires each licensee to secure a security bond of at least $5,000, but not more than $25,000. That is Code N 17-24-306. Okay. So, in my mind, they're guilty. Alright, so we're going to move on to if you're in court, which this is what I thought was going to happen to me, because we go back to court, right? And so now I need to educate myself about a witness. And I learned that sometimes, okay, everybody says they're never going to bring a witness. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so one of those people that the outside wants to try everything new on. That's me. Okay, so I'm like, what is the worst thing that can happen is that they bring a witness or they allow a telephone witness. Now, I could see in my area that our judges would allow that because they want to give everybody a fair chance. Okay. Object. And I'm like, when do I do this? I don't know, because I'm a polite person. I want to wait for this person to get done talking and, I don't know, look at me if it's my turn to talk. I don't want to get in trouble for talking out of turn. But I don't know, if you hear anything about a telephone witness, object. Make it known that you don't want that, and you may have to give a reason why. And the reason is, it makes it hard to review documents with the witness who is on the phone. What are they looking at? You can't see the body language of the witness. You cannot ensure the integrity of the trial because you don't really know what the witness may be looking at. Okay, if they were sitting there on the little thingy, what do you call that thing? A pulpit or something? I don't know. Where they have to sit there. Well, they're there. They don't have any papers in hand, usually. They have to go by what's in their brain. They can't get on Google and look at things, and there's nobody standing next to you saying, this is what you say. But if they're on the phone, they already knew, right? Because then PRA is like, we're going to call you as a witness. Okay, well, they may send somebody out there, say a representative or somebody, to be with them to tell them what to say, to give them clues or notes, or they may be Googling, what do I say? And that's an unfair advantage to you. You're not catching them off guard. So, they might have not had that answer sitting in front of you at the trial, but they do have it because they're sitting in front of a computer or something. Object. Do not let them have a telephone witness. Bring that up. You don't know what they're looking at. You can't see their body language, or if there's a representative standing next to them telling them what to say. Don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. So I was really getting psyched up, okay, I got to know when to not let this happen, because chances are that's going to happen. How do you cross-examine? What if they did bring or even hired somebody to get on the stand in front of me? I consider myself a mere peasant, I'm a nobody. And I don't know what I'm doing. And so I couldn't find really any questions, but I'm pretty good at coming up with questions myself. So I wrote it out. I typed it out, made it all pretty, and these were the questions that I was going to ask. We got a few minutes, so I put witness questioning, and I was going to put that out there so that they would see, their attorney would see that I got questions for this witness. Okay, and when you do all this learning, and you get the outcome that I got, it's good, but it's like, oh man, really? Okay, so it was, please tell the court in which state that you are a resident of. I want to know, are they coming out of Virginia? Are they coming out of Arkansas? Are they coming out of some other place that I don't know about? Okay, are you now or ever have been employed by Portfolio Recovery Associates? I want to know, who are they working for? What kind of information do they really know? They might not be working for them at all. Under oath, they're supposed to be like, well, no, these people just hired me off the street, gave me $100 to come in here and doom you. Okay, are you now or ever been employed of the original creditor? Do you have first-hand knowledge? Those are some key words right there. First-hand knowledge. Not that just that you know about it. Everybody has some knowledge. We know that astronauts go to the moon or whatever, but we don't have first-hand knowledge of how that all takes place. Okay, so do you have first-hand knowledge of how this account record in question was kept, logged, and checked by the original creditor? And if so, explain. And can you tell the court when this record was entered? Do you know who made this record? What was the customary procedure for the original creditor on making this record? What was the original creditor's practice as far as verifying accuracy? Can you tell the court when statements were sent out? What were the procedures of the original creditor when a dispute was made? Can you tell the court what systems or software that the original creditor used? Do you have first-hand knowledge of how this account in question was transferred from the original creditor's records into the plaintiff's business records? Have you handled this specific account record before litigation? Did you prepare the affidavit of this account record? If not, do you know who did? What was the interest rate on the account record with the original creditor? Not Portfolio, with the original guy. Can you inform the court of the interest rate the plaintiff is seeking on the alleged account? Two different things there. Alright, what's the outstanding balance? Okay, what was the outstanding balance owed to the original creditor? Do you know what the credit limit was for the alleged account? Do you know when the original creditor opened the account in question? Do you know when the original creditor closed the alleged account? Because I know all that. And can you tell the court if the plaintiff is a collection agency? So I would have really liked to know if they'd been like, yeah, they are. And I'd be like, really? What's that Arkansas number? Because I know that you're not there. Okay, so these people bought a debt. I mean, the original creditor got a tax write-off. It's like, yep, it's done. And so they just sell all these accounts. Basically, they're selling your information. That's all. They got paid a little bit of money. I mean a little bit, because they probably didn't pay but maybe $10 for this account that they're trying to get $1,600 on. If even that, it's pennies on the dollar that they buy these debts for, and they buy it without anything. I mean, it is literally just your name, your phone number, your social security number, perhaps. That's it. That's different. They had sent me an account here. They sent me a ledger thing like this, and it has some things on here like the sale amount, it says, was $16.56. Well, they haven't proven that. It says a principal of $8.78. I want to know what percentage was charged on that. A pre-charge-off fee said $235. I want to know how the plaintiff calculated that. Says the account open date, and it gave an open date and a default date, a charge-off date, and they included some statements, but there's some statements missing to what they say here. They're missing those statements, and they said what the last payment was, when it was, which is wrong. And even though it's wrong by 1 day, it is wrong. This sheet is 1 day off from the statement that they provided. It's still wrong. The last purchase date was wrong also, according to their statement. It was wrong on this. So, I made notes on that. And then I didn't need every statement, but I pulled out the things that I was going to argue against. I'm just going to see if I have some notes in here. I mean, I was prepared to go in there and argue. Heart pounding. My brain's like, oh my gosh, Vanessa. And I had to keep reminding myself, they can't collect, Vanessa. If the worst thing happens, they can't collect, you're good. Go in here and show these people what you can do. Okay. It looks like I probably didn't make any notes here. It's they only had one statement that showed any purchases that were made. You know how when you make a purchase, it says what you bought, when you bought it, how much for, and you pay for it. Well, they did not provide any of that. So it's like you had an account, you didn't buy anything, but you owe a whole bunch of stuff. According to them. Anyways, and then I had back here on the very back, I have a copy of my credit report. I use creditkarma.com. It's changed this year, but I had some printouts from last year, and you can learn it. Go study it. I mean, sit there and study it. They have little areas where you can go back all these years, go back 3, 4, or 5 years, month by month, and print those things off. I'm trying to see if I can show you without giving you personal information. So I do need you to have that. But they have these little payment histories. It's like, okay. And when you got delinquent, those little checks by the months and stuff, get those. Of course, it has all your other information on the side. Quick view there. But according to their dates, my little chart says I was good. I was in the green. So it didn't add up, first of all. Definitely fight these people. Don't let them win. Oh, I was going to say, I remember that thought came back now. I was going to say, oh, please don't go away. it was like they picked on Arkansas. There we go. Now I know kind of where I'm at. They, when you look through all this stuff and who they're suing and where they're suing it out, it's in all these other states but Arkansas. You cannot find anything on Arkansas. And it's like they said, okay, well, we have burned our bridges everywhere else. Let's start attacking Arkansas. I didn't just get this one summons. This is my first one. And then a couple days later, I got another one. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. Because I had 10 credit cards. And I'm like, I'm gonna just crawl in a corner and die. And it wasn't just me. Because like I say, something happened when Obama left. It was like, okay, my grandmother. Well, if you don't know about Melaleuca, read about Melaleuca. My mother-in-law used Melaleuca, and you had to become your so-called partner, kind of like your Avon representative. And so she kind of got me involved. And I do everything online, but I'm not allowed to sell it online. I can have a Tupperware party, a Melaleuca party, and sell it, and then you could do whatever the hell you want with it. But you can't. You can have a brick and mortar store with Melaleuca. Build a house and sell it out of there. But you can't do it online, like eBay and things like that. That's a big no-no. Okay, well, I had an account, and I would just well, Grandma had some things, and I'm like, well, why don't you try to sell this for me? Basically, it's like you bought it, you can sell it, right? You bought it, you sell it. So, and Grandma had my grandma, not my mother-in-law, my grandmother had no contract. I signed a contract with Melaleuca, and I agreed I wouldn't sell it. But my grandmother did not sign a contract. Okay, well, she sold some things on her eBay accounts. And it's like, okay, I need some more, Vanessa, I need some more of that toothpaste. And Vanessa, I need some more of that. And I'm like, okay. So I ordered it on my account, and she pays me the money for it. She takes it. Those are her products now, and she goes and sells it. Okay, that's fine by me. I don't mind doing that. I'm not getting hurt. They're making money anyways. I'm buying it from them, which is making them money, and she's buying it from me at a discounted price, and she's making money. Okay, well, time goes on, right? And I just let my account go. I canceled my account. My mother-in-law canceled her account, and Grandma still got products listed, right? Well, Melaleuca sends my grandmother a summons. They are suing her. And it was like, is it another state? South Dakota? I may be wrong there. But for a breach of contract. She doesn't have a contract, so at the same time that I'm dealing with these guys, she's dealing with that, and I'm trying to get her settled, like, okay, Grandma, let's go back to this guy who, answered mine. And so he, was working with her, but he can't do very much because they are out of state. And, okay, well, they file her answer. The company or whoever is representing them gets a hold with Grandma and says, we're sorry about all this stuff. We can make this all go away. Just take down all your products. It's just like, fine. So she takes down all her products for sale, and so she doesn't have anything up for sale anymore. They're all Christmas gifts now, and goes on about her business. And then she gets another stack of papers about this lawsuit, that she's still involved in this lawsuit that she never signed a contract with. And it's interesting as you go through things like that I've learned is you can't just go to the thrift store and buy something and you own it to sell it. That's basically what it is. Avon hasn't done that yet, but I have personally gone to a thrift store and bought boxes of Avon stuff. So many of these older women were into that, and they had a lot of Avon, and when they pass on, it goes to thrift stores, and you get all kinds, like those fancy little cologne thingamajiggers. My son collects those things, and then lots of the eyeliner and nail polishes, right? You bought it, you own it, and it's yours to do what you want to. Not so with Melaleuca. And just recently, I had some books and items from Melaleuca that I found under my closet, and I thought, I'm just going to donate this. And I'm like, oh, wait, I better not do that, because somebody's going to wind up like my grandmother and buy it and try to sell it, because those things sell like hotcakes. Melaleuca is a great product, it's a great quality. They're just crappy corporation is what that is. But I thought, oh, I can't do that because I don't want to hurt somebody like my grandmother's going through. So she bought a product. Doesn't matter who she bought it from. She bought it from me. She could have bought it from anybody at the Salvation Army or whatever. But she listed it, and everybody else who have listed it on eBay and Amazon are flagged in this lawsuit. Do your education. Hers is probably worse than mine because she is a different bracket in that, whether it's South Dakota, I can't remember, different bracket of laws and things. She would have to go there apparently and show up for trial to, not be defaulted. And she's like, seriously, I can't go there, So hey, if you got information on dealing with Melaleuca lawsuits of an older woman, never signed a contract, they can't even find her contract and records because it's not there. It was my contract, and she just happened to be selling it among others. I kid you not, there are hundreds of people enlisted in her lawsuit that had it listing a Melaleuca product either on Amazon or eBay, which is ridiculous because when you buy it, you own it, and if you didn't sign a contract, she, laws need to be changed, people. Oh, and about going back with some of this on this PRA, what they did was legal. They said, you owe me a debt, and if you don't answer it, I legally have the obligation to garnish your wages. Think about that. Did you do work for somebody? Contractual work? Labor? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, right? You paved somebody's driveway, you shoveled some snow, you cut down a tree for somebody, and one of these days it's going to be the wrong person. And I can see a lot of college kids, if you're listening, there's a lot of college kids who are going to get hit up in this stuff. You may have never had a credit card. You may have never did manual labor. You may just be innocent as can be, and you get a letter in the mail that says, hey, you owe me this debt. Those little words at the bottom of that paper that you're probably going to trash it and not even open it, those little words at the bottom that says you got 30 days to tell me that you don't owe this debt, because if I don't hear from you in 30 days, you agree that you owe this debt. That's legal. You agree to it. And then when they file a summons, step number 2, they file a summons. They go to the court, small claims court, and they say, well, Jim Bob did some labor for me, and I did some labor for Jim Bob. Cleaned his car, built him his shed, cut down his fruit tree that was dropping apples on his roof or whatever, and he owes me $2,000, and Jim Bob hasn't paid me. And so now I'm asking the court to please let me have my money, by garnishment. They're going to send it to Jim Bob, and Jim Bob's going to be like, what the heck? Well, I never even heard of this person. I don't have fruit trees. I live in an apartment, Oh, this is baloney, and in the garbage it goes. Default is happening in 30 days. Jim Bob's checks are going to be garnished. I didn't have to prove that I did the work. I only have to prove it if Jim Bob says, by golly, I'm going to write this answer down. Okay, then the burden of proof would lie to me. And at that time, I'd be like, man, this guy's going to fight. I'm just going to drop this case. It didn't cost very much money because there's so many people who are going to just do what I just said, throw it in the garbage and get garnishment. 25% of somebody's check is now going to go to somebody else who just lied. This bothers me. Please, please, please pay attention to what I'm saying. Please think. Please educate yourself, your children, and your friends. Don't just throw away things. Read it. Answer these douchebags and put an end to this, okay? It's bad enough with student loan debts and things that, and college kids, adults, I know they go to college too, because I'm one of them. They are prime targets because so much stuff is going on with your final exams. You may be getting some credit cards because you may be trying to build some credit there, and there's no problem in that. Read your mail, read it, answer it, fight back. You don't understand something? Get on Google, get on YouTube. The answers are out there. Do not become a victim. We need to chase these people out of Arkansas. And I'm not the first case, but I'm probably the first one sitting here on this YouTube with a video pertaining to a case in Arkansas. What happened in my result? Well, you know what happened with my result. I showed up. I showed up the last time, and they showed up. They did not have a witness. They dropped the case. They said they did a head count because they wanted to know if I'm there. And if I wasn't there, they would have defaulted. And they're like, okay, you're there. They're going to drop the case against you. I said, okay. It was with prejudice, which means that